Army Armstrong and Gary Lee back at the Jaycee Community Park in Bayou George, Florida, right near Panama City. And we have more mud racing competition out of Vandalia, Ohio, near Dayton, Ohio. This is Instant T. Chad Miller, a fiberglass replica of a 1927 Roadster with a Crowler Guide slipper clutch, direct drive Lenco transmission, straight from the sport of drag racing, high dollar components. Oh, look at this time. Look at the jubilation in the cockpit. 2.731, and now he is the new leader. Chad Miller, what a ride, Army.
Well, Gary, he banged it off the start line, picked the front end up, set it down right at the lights on the finish line to net a 273. That puts 4 vehicles on this 200-foot course under 3 seconds for their entire run. But this is the quickest of all right now. But I'm not surprised. This kid's out of mid-Ohio. All the racers in that part of the country seem to go quick and fast.
Oh, he has the veterans talking with the fast time, Army.
How about it, a 273? You are pumped. It was a pump special run.
Oh, I've been waiting for it a long time. We've been working on this car, and she's finally going straight, and everything's coming together. I just want to thank my crew and everybody that's helped me this far to get here.
Tell you what, did it feel good to you? It looked like it was one of the smoothest runs I've ever seen. You just picked the front end up and walked it out the other end.
Yeah, it was just, as soon as I come out of the hole, it just lifted the front tires as straight as can be. You could stay in the throttle, and right at the end of the track, it just set them down. You can't get a more perfect run than that.
There's a certain feeling in the cockpit when everything is going right, and Chad Miller had it. We saw that jubilation as he crossed the finish line. It is twilight time at Bayou George here in the panhandle of Florida. Chad Miller leads in Instant T. Steve DeLuise second in Bodacious, and Jim Harbuck third in Flirting with Disaster.
Yeah, but Gary, it's not over. Look who's coming out now. The sun may be going down, but the adrenaline's pumping up. Tater and Ron Pence go to the starting line.
Ron Pence has won here in the past in his Chevy Love, the Keith Black Chevy engine. He's using the bigger diggers. Now we can see the starting area starting to get chewed up. He needs to best at 2.731.
Little bit of bobble on the top end of the track. You notice it started moving left to right. Gary, the track might just be going away.
Well, a 3.021.
Watch for a left to right movement at the finish line.
He looks like a hydroplane racing right now.
Yeah, he's trying to get
He's
up on
dancing across the mud.
Well, he laid down a good shot, but still, if you're going to get in the top 4 in this game, you got to be under 3 seconds. And the next one coming out, if there's a bad guy in the sport, it's got to be this one right here.
Well, this is the father of the father-son racing team, Enos Thomas, in the heartbeat of America. A former national champion. Look at him carry the front end.
Boy, if you know anything about mud racing, you know the name Enos Thomas, and this guy just showed you why. He does not know what the word fear is all about. He attacks the track, doesn't he, Gary?
Close, but no cigar at 2.796, but watch him jump off the line and carry the front end.
Picks a button up, the nitrous oxide making all the horsepower he wants. Just a game of hundreds and thousands of a second.
Coming right at you, the spray from the starting line as the starting line is getting chewed up, but nice soupy mud. He climbs across that, trips the light at 2.796.
Enos Thomas laid down a great shot, but looking on the starting line, you see a blue helmet and a stogie. What does that tell you?
I think he's been here before. Indeed, that is Glenn Seabolt. He actually has 2 vehicles in this competition. This is the Miller American Jeep with Chevy power, 3.284. That cigar gets a workout.
You know, you may mention just a second ago about the starting line. You're right, the starting line's starting to go away. They're coming out a little bit crooked. In the middle, they're going straight, but watch the drivers' heads. They're starting to get whipped back and forth. That's an indication that the chassis is getting tossed around. It may look straight, but believe me, these guys have got their hands full, don't they?
The man in the black helmet out of Panama City, the local hero, Bucky Dillard. This is Rattler 2, a 427 cubic inch Chevrolet.
Everybody talks about Bucky. Let's see this. Oh, he was.
Look at him walk across that mud at 3.006. He was virtually on the edge of being out of control.
That's what you call running on the flirting with disaster there, running on the edge of the envelope, whatever you want to call it, but that's got to be the wildest 200 feet he's ever taken a ride in his life. He's still fighting on the 200 feet past the finish line. He was still fighting for control, Gary.
Well, here's a man who has been upside down in the mud here at Bayou George. This is Tom Marsh in the Intruder. It is a Jeep with the big road deck. He's using the bigger diggers, and these diggers have really hooked up this evening. He nails the hammer, almost brings it over backwards. He needed a wheelie bar on that one.
Boy, but Gary, he back in the throttle, still goes under 4 seconds, a 384. That was a situation, had he not gotten back in the throttle, he would have gone over.
That woke the fans up here at Bayou George. Look at this. He's in the throttle, has to back out of the throttle. Have you ever seen the undercarriage of a mud racer like that before?
And then instantly, as soon as he sets the front end down, back into the throttle again and powers it out the back door.
In hydroplane racing, they would call it a blowover. He almost went over backwards. An incredible ride. That has to get the pulse rate up. Armin, you're down there with Tom.
Well, the rocket launch in Florida is not supposed to take place for a couple more days, but you were flat looking straight at Mother Nature there.
Yes, sir. I was looking straight at the moon.
Okay, what causes that?
Well, it's hooking up a little tight, and I changed the gear, and I must have went too steep with the gear.
Yeah, but you stayed in it. You know, it went up, settled, and then you went right back after it.
Well, I didn't want it to come slamming down, and I didn't want to hurt my time too bad, so I wanted to get back on, try to salvage something.
A true racer, always trying to salvage whatever he can. Here's Scott Cluxton, another local favorite from here in Panama City, and the Rattler won.
You know, Gary, Tom Marsh a moment ago just won a 384, but he broke the top end timers with his rear tires. He'd have been right in this program had he gotten the front end down.
Scott Cluxton with the bare essentials, a frame, an engine, and some sheet metal, turns in a 3.417. He's one of the members of the James Head Rattler racing team, which is based in Panama City.
Gary, you notice when Scott comes out of the pit how he has to wing the throttle right here to get the vehicle straightened back up?
Well, here comes George Gregory, the new breed, perhaps the most expensive and unique racing machine in this sport. We have heard some estimates that this machine may have cost him $75,000.
I wouldn't doubt it one bit. For one of the reasons, he runs one of the Jerry Jaycee prepared big block Chevy engines out of Texas. Jaycee doesn't come cheap.
2.894, a good run, but not quite fast enough. A 1927 Mercedes-Benz grill. He's the former indoor champion, and as you indicated, he's running that big 496 Jerry Jaycee engine. And some of the race fans have a real unique vantage point. Climb up on top of the school bus and enjoy the action from Bayou George. We're still chasing Chad. Stay with us.